Okay, so let's start talking about the actual steps that we do in this step selling system. So, as I have said before, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I recommend you do. That's how you'll be able to see our entire catalog of videos rather than just the last couple that have been posted. And I'm always welcome for you to like and or leave comments about the videos. I do enjoy the feedback. So as we said yesterday, I'm going to read over the 12 steps. So the first step is preparation and mindset. The second step is entry and warm-up, and we use an acronym called FORMS. It stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, Motivation, and Survey. We'll talk more about that. The third step is the marketing survey, or needs assessment, as some people refer to it. The fourth step is the inspection, and there is a commitment that we get at the end of the inspection. We'll talk about that. The fifth step is the company story, also with a commitment at the end. The sixth step is the price conditioning and eliminate alternatives, and we get many commitments on both of those items so that they understand price conditioning, what they're looking at, eliminating the alternatives, also known as taking somebody shopping and taking things off the table that they might encounter with other companies. Seventh step is product demo, and there is a commitment to that as well. The eighth step is your pre-close, where we make conditions for making a sale and bring it down to money. Then we're going to measure, get our actual measurements to be able to work up a price. And then we're going to price and prepare to go into the close. The ninth step is the retail close. The retail close is an exercise of looking for the easy ones, what we call the low-hanging fruit or rollovers. And we do those through trial closes. But most importantly in the retail close is we are learning the information to actually close someone. Are they cash or finance? What monthly investment can they handle? What would they do as far as an initial deposit? We're learning these conditions in the retail close. So when we actually make a strong closing attempt, we're targeting it to the person, not just stabbing blindly into the air. The 10th step is qualification of incentives and major close. This is where you talk about the various programs that'll save them money, as you've been promising throughout the presentation. And then the major close, where we go for an actual strong close, do our higher authority closes. This can take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the person you're in front of and how large the sale is. The 11th step is your button up, getting everything buttoned up and doing the paperwork. And then your 12th step is to warm down, to bring them back to earth so they're not on an emotional high when you leave and develop a bad case of buyer's remorse. Ask for referrals, do a short video testimonial, and any reviews. So this is our 12-step selling system. As I mentioned to you yesterday, it breaks down into three categories. Your suspect phase, which is steps 1 through 4. Your prospect phase, which is steps 5 through 7. And your customer phase, which is the rest of it. When you first get there, you're a suspect and they're a suspect. Everybody wonders where this is going to go. Everybody's concerned about whether it's the real deal. Do I have somebody legitimate in front of me? They think the same thing you do. And they think more of it because they're wondering if you're a slimy salesperson from a crappy company with an overpriced crappy product. What else would they think? They're scared. And so during the suspect phase, while we would like to do these steps in order, occasionally, for the sake of the situation we're in, we might have to do these in a slightly different order, and that's okay. It's okay to rearrange the steps a little bit within these three categories. Now, you can't rearrange much in the customer. You can't do the paperwork if you haven't closed them, obviously. But I have in the suspect phase jumped around a little bit here. And I have in the prospect phase, company story, price conditioning, eliminating alternatives, and the product demo jumped around a little bit in there. These two categories, if necessary, can be mixed up. But you wouldn't do product up here, and you wouldn't do the inspection down here. You got to stay within the three categories. So that's the suspect phase, the prospect phase, and the customer phase that I talked about yesterday. Now today we're going to focus in this video on the first step, mindset and preparation, right here. Mindset and preparation. What do we do before we even get to a lead? Now, as I said in the orientation, you're going to get your leads the night before. We have an app in our presentation software, which is called Engage. We have an app in Engage And that app is called Project Mapit. And Project Mapit has about 13,000 of the 18,000 jobs we've done loaded into an app where you can literally put somebody's address or zip code in, and it'll give you all the jobs closest to that person, what we did, the street name, the street number, and that kind of thing. Part of your preparation the night before would be to take your lead addresses, put them in Project Mapit, and find out how relevant that app would be for your particular presentation the next day. You're going to find on some leads, there may be as many as 200 or 300 jobs within just a few miles of the address you're going on. What a message to send that homeowner. So you want to know. And then in some of the more rural areas or newer territories for us, might not be any or just 1 or 2 jobs. So you don't want to open Project Mapit and not know the answer. You want to have researched that the night before. Something else you're going to look at the night before is how much time is there between your first lead and your second lead. If I have a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock lead, when I walk in that 10 o'clock lead, I already know how far away it is from the 10 to the 2. So if I get in there, maybe they're an older couple, it takes me longer than it normally would, and I start pushing on the time of the 2, I'm not going to rush out. Love the one you're with. I'm going to stay in that 10 o'clock. Reach out to marketing and let them know, hey, I'm going to be with these folks another hour, and I'm about 45 minutes to that 2 o'clock. I won't get there till 3:30 or 4. Can you please give them a call? Marketing will take care of pushing the appointment back and then let you know either they're good with the new time or that they've reset and you don't need to go to it. Never rush from one lead to the other, but be aware of your time frames so you can run your business for the most opportunities. Another thing in mindset and lead preparation, I don't like doing this, but some of you are going to do it anyway, so let's talk about it. And that's looking the job up on things like Zillow and, Google MapQuest and that kind of stuff. Here's the challenge I want to put for you. If you're looking the house up on Zillow because you're honestly doing it to get tools to help you, like how long they've owned the home, or the fact that the home has gone up significantly, $200,000 or $300,000 in the last few years in value, and they're really in a great position as far as when they do work on the home, the value goes up. I'm okay with that. But if you're going to Zillow or Google MapQuest and you want to look it up to see whether the lead's any good or to see what kind of house I'm going to, you are a failure waiting to happen. I just can't be any more honest than that. You are a failure waiting to happen. Because the reality is, I have installed $20,000 showers and $15,000 mobile homes. Because people buy what they want and they fix things up that they like, and the value doesn't represent into it except for a certain chunk of people. Plenty of sales in those. So if I'm looking at a shack out in the woods or $1 million home down on the river, they're all the same to me. I don't know the situation I'm going to run into. So I just challenge you, if you do find yourself using those tools the night before, and I never do. I wait till I get to the house and that's the situation I got, and I love the surprise when I get there. But if you find yourself using those tools, I challenge you to ask yourself why you're doing it. If you're doing it to see how good the house or how good the lead is I got, you're a failure waiting to happen. If you're doing it looking for honest tools that maybe would help you out and be better, fine, more power to you. Now, preparation. Let's talk about mindset. So the next day, when you start your day, are you starting your day from having stayed up till 2 or 3 o'clock the night before? Folks, the sales industry is fraught with people who live in the fast lane. And that's okay. I've lived in the fast lane too. But I also was smart enough to know when I had a big day of sales calls, get some rest. Wake up in the morning a little bit early. Do some exercise. I'm not talking about hitting the gym for an hour and a half, but go for a 20-minute walk. Do some calisthenics. Do some deep knee bends and some jumping jacks. Do something to get the blood flowing. Drink some coffee. Get hydrated. Have a small breakfast and give yourself the time where you're not rushing up out of the bed, brush my hair, throw my clothes on from the day before, snap them out so they don't have wrinkles, grab a pastry out and a cup of coffee, and I run out the door in 5 minutes because I'm already late. That's not what $300,000 a year producers do. They plan their day meticulously from the minute they get up. So have some preparation. Run your business like $1 million producer. If you have never made $150 or $200 or $250,000 a year in your life, it's because you don't currently have the habits or the skills to make it, or you would be making that money or have made it in the past. So if you were wanting to make that money, but you never have, you need a new set of learned skills and habits. And this goes back to preparation. If you want to make $250,000 a year, you need to have the habits first of someone that makes that kind of money. You're never going to get to the money and then get the habits. Do you make your bed every day? One small success. There was a general from the Army, a retired general, that wrote a book called Make Your Bed Every Day. And he talked about how that one little thing of having a chore done, a thing accomplished real quickly in a couple of minutes in the morning can set the tone for your entire day. Plus, it's nice to come home to climb into a made bed as opposed to a messy one. Little things like that. Now, when we talk about mindset and you get to the leads, when you first go to your lead, prepare to get to the lead 15, 20, 30 minutes early. The only lead I'm ever late to is the second or third lead in a day because I sold the one before. I'm never going to be late to the first lead because I'm planning to get there 20 or 30 minutes early. So if I run into traffic or an accident or a situation, I've got time and I'm not stressed. Now, what do I do with that 20 or 30 minutes when I get there? Well, quite handily, I check out the neighborhood. I'm looking for things to talk about in my warm-up when I go to break the ice. Because they don't want to talk about me. They want to talk about themselves, and they want to talk about their neighborhood. Is there a school within the neighborhood? Did their kids go to that school? Did the kids walk back and forth to that school, or did the parents drive them? Are there bike paths and walk paths through the neighborhood that the neighbors can enjoy? Is it that kind of neighborhood? Is there an old farmhouse in the back corner where this was once big pasture land and it was broken up for this subdivision, but the original farmhouse is there? What's the story? How long ago did that happen? Is it a mature neighborhood with grown trees, or is it a new neighborhood with younger, smaller trees and we're waiting for them to grow? Look for things to talk about in the neighborhood. Look for things around the neighborhood. Find conversational points. Check it out. You exterior reps definitely want to get there and be looking at things like roof and how many replacement window jobs have been done in the neighborhood. If you're selling windows, did you know that you can tell immediately whether there's a homeowners association that will impact color choice and styles for the exterior of the homes just by looking at all the homes that have already done replacement windows? Because if there's a homeowners association, every single one of those homes will have grids in the windows because the HOA requires it. But if a good percentage don't have grids, because 50 to 60% of people that do replacement windows choose not to have grids unless they're told to do so, if you see a significant number of jobs in that neighborhood without grids, there's no HOA. What great information for you to know before you even knock on the door. So when I get to the neighborhood and I'm there early and I've checked it out, the next thing I'm going to do is if I have any phone calls to make, any paperwork to get straight, any preparation before I walk up to the door, I'm going to do that a block down the street. I'm not going to pull up to the house in front of the home where the homeowner can see me and then spend 10 minutes in the cab of my car with my arms flailing around through the windshield while I'm getting my clipboard ready, my paperwork ready, and everything set to go up to the house. I've done all that down the street, and I am ready to pull up in the house, step out with some snap to my step, and head right to the door as soon as I show up. There's an old saying in this business is don't park in the driveway. Yes, if that's possible, but don't get ate up about it. There's just no point in it. Nowadays, parking can be restricted. Sometimes you just take what you can get. If you're in a city environment and a lot of reserved spots, don't hesitate to park your car in front. leave it running, go knock on the door, and just ask the homeowner, where can you park? They'll have a solution for you. You might have to ask them. Just be creative with those kind of things. Expect that when you are in sight of the house, the homeowner can see you with Ring doorbells and people peeking through the windows. You're on stage as soon as you can see their home. So be ready for that. Is your car clean? Now, my car might be a little dirty on the outside. It's been raining the last couple of days. But if you go look at the inside of my car, there's no paperwork on the dash. There's not a bunch of stuff shoved on the visor. There's not a bunch of wrappers or trash in the door slots or in the middle console. There's not a bunch of fast food wrappers and soda cans in the passenger seat of the back area. People will meet you at your car. In the summer, they're outside working in the yard. They're going to come over and meet you at your car. And you ladies, they're going to help you carry your kits back out to your car. Does your car represent somebody who's a professional and an expert and they can trust with this project on their home and that it's going to look nice? Or is it a trash pit that would concern somebody about the quality of what they're going to get? What's your car look like? Are your samples clean? I made a habit of keeping wipes in the back of my vehicle and a lint roller brush, because if I go in a home that they've got cats or dogs on the first lead and I'm covered in pet hair on my pants legs, I don't want to go in the next lead that has an allergy to pets and doesn't have any with that hair all over or all over my samples. So I had a lint roller that I could take to my pant legs or to my samples and clean them up. I had wipes, like I said, that if I was in a home and we handed them around, or maybe the kids had touched the door samples or the wall samples, I got smudges and fingerprints, yes, I'll stop for 5 minutes, a little bit away from the home, take them all out, wipe them down, put them back in. I'm looking to make $2,500 to $4,000 on this sales call. You think it's better or worse that I have clean kits? Give you a hint about this business. Everything you do and everything you say does one of two things. It either moves you closer to the sale or it moves you further away from the sale. Dirty kits move you further away from a sale. Taking 5 minutes to wipe them down and clean them move you closer to a sale. Taking the lint roller to your shedding dog legs from the last lead moves you closer to a sale. Always ask yourself, is your behavior or the thing you're doing or the thing you're saying moving you closer to the sale or further away from the sale? First impressions are made how quickly? Seconds, right? Let me ask you a question. Let's say a friend of yours sets you up on a blind date and you go to meet this person on a blind date. Now, I'm not saying that at the end of this date or the next you're going to actually kiss this person, but what I am going to ask you is how quickly do you decide to yourself whether you even would kiss them, whether they're even eligible for that kiss, whether you're even interested in ever having a kiss with them? How long does it make you when you meet somebody that might have romantic intentions? Does it take you to make that kiss decision? Not very long, does it? Most answers I hear are less than a minute. We go by that belly sensation, don't we? People treat their money the same way. They will very quickly make a decision of whether they would spend any money with you, even if it's a subconscious decision. That's the battle you're fighting in a home. You're fighting the battle of not moving that needle on that measuring stick all the way over to, I would never spend money with this person. Because they might still hear you out. They might still want the information. They might still want to learn something. But if you've done something to move that needle, they're never going to buy from you. And it starts with first impressions. Are you dressed sharp? Are you wearing, I've got nice casual shoes, khakis, nice polo shirt. And in this case, a little bit older, my feet are sensitive. I'm wearing some very high-end, very good-looking tennis shoes, and I color coordinate to them. And I wear those or either slip-ons like Skechers, because I am, anytime I walk in a home, going to start to take my shoes off, unless their floor is such that I wouldn't. But most cases, that's not the case. And so they'll stop me if they don't care. But I always offer to slip my shoes off when going in a home. 90% of the time when I'm running leads, I have slip-ons. It's a Skechers or something like that to make it very easy to do that. All of these are the first impressions that make a difference in you being able to go out and make these big dollars. So are you preparing the night before? Are you getting a game plan? Are you making sure the app called Project Map, it's a good one to bring up in the house? Or maybe in their particular case, I just won't bring it up because there aren't a whole lot. Do you have a game plan of how far away it is? Do you know what time you're going to get up? Are your kits clean? Are you ready to go? Do you have copies of all your paperwork? Are you ready? Does your moisture meter have a fresh battery in it? And then when it comes to mindset, I want to leave you with one last thought as we close this video. It's a well-known fact from case studies that average Joe salespeople, remember average Joe? Average Joe isn't really average. He struggles a lot of times. We were nice to call him average Joe. You know what average Joe thinks about as he's walking up to his next lead? Or average Josephine thinks as she's walking up to her next lead? They're thinking about, I hope this isn't like that last one. Boy, that guy was tough on me. I hope these people can make a decision. Those last people wouldn't decide. Oh, no, it's a red pickup. The last time I had a red pickup, he was a hard-nosed redneck. He wasn't very nice at all. They're thinking about the tough ones and the failures, and that's what's running through their mind when they knock on that door. You know what our superstars are thinking of? They're thinking of that last great sale they've made. I have literally got 4 or 5 sales over the years where I'm so proud of what I sold or how I sold it or something I did in the home. And I've replayed these reels, this film of these 4 or 5 sales dozens and dozens of times as I'm walking up to the house. This one spectacular close I had, or this one really big package that I creatively put together and closed, or the one where they kept separating and I got them back together and closed them. And I'm thinking of those successes when I go through the door right before I knock on the door. It makes a difference. Trust me. So that's our step 1, preparation and mindset. Get yourself ready and make it happen. Thank you.